Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, I was watching the Half-Blood Prince over the Christmas period, and something's been on my mind since, and that's the story of Regulus Black, younger brother of Sirius. Now, Regulus discovered that Voldemort created horcruxes before anyone else, and he steals the original locket horcrux, replacing it with a fake. So Regulus dies in the cave that day. He's unable to escape the inferi that dragged him to his death, but not before telling Kreacher the elf to take the locket, leave, and destroy it at his earliest convenience. So Regulus dies, nobody knows, his family then all die, and he is practically erased from existence. So here's my issue. This was such a fantastic subplot, well, minor subplot one could say, and yet nothing was done with it. It could have been a great backstory for Sirius, for us all to see his early relationship with his little brother, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Regulus Black's story should have been told in proper detail, so let's do it. Let's tell the Regulus Black story. With that being said, get yourself comfy, grab yourself a butterbeer, and enjoy today's video. Okay everyone, let's get started. Now, I said in the introduction of this video that I want to tell the story of Regulus Black, but mostly I want to explain why his story should have been told. I also want to talk about why he was a true hero. So Regulus was the youngest child of Orion and Walburga Black, and the younger brother of Sirius. Now, it's not exactly known what kind of relationship the two brothers had, but it's plausible to assume that at one point it was a healthy one, especially in their early years before family politics took control when the boys became of reasonable age. Now, Sirius being the eldest meant he was expected to lead by example, by upholding the family values, just as his father did before him, while Regulus would learn from them both, but he still wished it was he who was in Sirius' position. Now, the problem with Sirius was that he didn't believe in the family's view on pure blood ideology. He hated how derogatory it was to judge people based on if their blood was less magical than others, or so the saying went. Regulus was also aware of this. He knew that Sirius' continued rebellion would only ever result in one outcome, meaning someone would have to step up and assume responsibility for showing that the most noble and ancient house of Black were more established than ever, with their youngest son embracing and receiving the pure blood values that have made their house, along with several others, the great dynasty that it is today. Regulus only ever wanted to be received well, to make his parents proud. It wasn't uncommon for families such as the Blacks to be Death Eater sympathizers, meaning they supported the idea and goal that this Lord Voldemort was trying to achieve, but they would not involve themselves firsthand. Regulus, however, had other ideas. He wanted to do what Sirius couldn't do. He wanted to be part of the moving resistance, fighting for a pure-blooded wizarding society. He wanted to be the rebel for the right cause. Let's not forget, Regulus was just 17 when he joined the Death Eaters. Still in school, he genuinely believed he was doing the right thing, and he knew many faces among this circle, including his own cousin Bellatrix Lestrange. However, Regulus quickly found out that this wasn't going to be protests and public calls for change. This was going to be a war. People were going to die, and he'd most likely be the one ending those lives, all in the name of his master, whom he's sworn a lifetime of service to. Speaking of which, lifetime is lifetime. It means for life. There's no backing out when you feel overwhelmed. Regulus was in at the deep end, and unless he was killed in battle or killed by Voldemort himself, he wasn't going anywhere. In addition to that, he really witnessed just how cold, callous and cruel the Dark Lord was. This was at a time when Voldemort was at his most experimental. He was still testing different spells and was currently in the middle of securing a safe location for his locket horcrux. The Dark Lord wanted to see the effects of the potion he concocted himself in order to determine if it was effective enough to be used as a defense measure. This is the drink you might all know as the Emerald Potion, or the Drink of Despair. Kreacher, who was in service to the House of Black and now solely Regulus, was used to test the potion. The house elves screamed in pain and delirium, the effects getting worse and worse after every sip, until Voldemort was satisfied and left the elf in the cave to die. He didn't take into consideration that elves have different magical DNA and different magical properties, meaning Kreacher could disapparate out of the cave to safety. So it's at this point, after hearing of the horrific treatment of his elf, that Regulus comes to the conclusion that the Dark Lord could only guard something with such force if it was somehow connected to the man himself. It's not revealed how Regulus came to this conclusion that it was indeed a horcrux, but the fact that he did shows that he had an extensive knowledge of magic, and dark magic at that. The mere mention of horcruxes is almost as taboo as saying the Dark Lord's name was after his downfall, so it highlights Regulus' skill as a wizard that he not only knew of the existence of horcruxes, but also how to identify them. Now, the thing about Regulus is, he was softer than appeared. Regulus really didn't want to hurt people, it just wasn't in his character. Now, it's also unknown how he duplicated the locket, most likely a replication spell of some sort. And his actions on his own behalf could have remained anonymous, but he wanted Voldemort to know that it was he who got the better of him. He wanted the Dark Lord to have his first taste of a somewhat defeat, because Voldemort never really believed he could be outsmarted. We can even see it in the note he left to him, so let's take a look at it. It reads, "To the Dark Lord, I know I'll be long dead before you read this, but I want you to know that it was I who discovered your secret. I have stolen the real horcrux and intend to destroy it as soon as I can. I face death in the hope that when you meet your match, you'll be mortal once more. Regulus Black." So that was a total and complete up yours to the Dark Lord. Now this would have made Regulus a marked man. Voldemort would have hunted him down, but don't forget, he's tied to all of his Death Eaters through their dark mark tattoos, meaning he'd have known the exact moment when Regulus would have died. That's the thing, nobody knew about Regulus' death, probably only Voldemort and Kreacher, who was also sworn to secrecy by his master. Sirius never discovered that his brother died a hero, that he redeemed himself, that he turned his back on evil and gave his life to hopefully one day help stop the Dark Lord. Sirius thought that his brother cowered at the things he was asked to do, when in reality, Regulus thought they were inhumane and unjust. Even Sirius' account of his death shows his last thought of his younger brother as it reads, "He was murdered by Voldemort. Or on Voldemort's orders, more likely. I doubt Regulus was ever important enough to be killed by Voldemort in person. From what I found out after he died, he got in so far, then panicked about what he's been asked to do, and tried to back out. Well, you don't just hand in your resignation to Voldemort. It's a lifetime of service or death." It was only when Kreacher revealed the story to Harry that light of Regulus' heroics came to head. Finally someone knew his story. Finally someone knew there was an unsung hero who died for what he believed was right. Still, none of his family seen life long enough to be told about it. It kind of fits that recurring theme within Harry Potter, that it's a sad story. There are no happy endings, just successful ones that come with great loss. I genuinely feel there could have been a proper flashback to the exact scene in the cave where Regulus gave his life, or even something more detailed in the book. His story should have definitely been told with a bigger element to it, but that's just me guys, and I want to know what you all think about the story and the character of Regulus Black. Should we have had a scene in the movie that shows his sacrifice and what happened to him? Do any of you believe that it could have been nice for Sirius to at least find out his brother died a hero? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, have a great day, and always remember, be happy. Thank you so much for watching, I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at Folklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.